Afternoon, folks. How y'all doing? Tim Coleman Sr., Kentucky Basketball Recruiting Report. Also, Big Tim's High School Basketball Review. I'm going to talk about a few things here today. I'll start out with Makur Maker. He picked Howard, of course, over UCLA, Kentucky, Memphis, a bunch of other schools. It's very historic pick. He's the highest ranked player since they've been ranking to HBCU. For you uninitiated, it is historically black colleges and universities. I wish more kids would consider the HBCUs, and I wish more kids would consider putting those black dollars back into those HBCUs. The more kids that go to these universities, the more money that will be generated into these universities, these HBCUs. And the more prospects you get, the more TV time they'll get. The TV follows the talent. It's just how it is. So if you get a bunch of kids that go to one HBCU, or if you get, say, 90% of the top 50 players go to HBCUs, there will be a dramatic shift. Okay, you'll have the TV money, you have the other money going to the HBCUs, going to the historically black colleges and universities. And so I hope Makur Maker is a start. Okay, I hope it's a start. Okay, and I will keep saying this pretty much as long as I live. Okay. All right, I'm a Kentucky fan. Most of my family went to Kentucky, got their degrees from Kentucky, and so I understand all of that. Okay, but those are white universities. Kentucky is a white university. Okay, it was originally created for white kids to go get an education. Okay, that's why you have. That's why they had to create HBCUs, because the white universities would discriminate against black people from going to schools. So if you're upset about it, I don't give a darn. All right, I don't give a darn. Okay, your ancestors started that. Okay, your ancestors breeded that sort of hatred and racism, which is why HBCUs exist. Okay, if white folks wasn't so scared, okay, and wasn't so racist, your ancestors wasn't so racist, okay, then you would never had a need for HBCUs. Some dog wants to be heard over me, so can't do nothing about that. I'm not gonna move my computer into the house, but that is why HBCUs even exist. So don't get upset when people like myself suggest that these top 50 kids go to HBCUs. Okay, y'all claim, oh, Kentucky basketball will still survive. You'll still root for Kentucky teams. You'll still root for inferior Kentucky teams, even though all the black talent will go to HBCUs. You'd still root for, and I believe you. Okay, your ancestors did it when it was all white teams at Kentucky and these other universities. So I believe it. I believe you'd still, cheer for UK, even though, it'd be an all-white squad. I believe that. All right. Okay. So it's not that, it's not a believable thing. Of course, Kentucky basketball will survive. The white colleges would survive. Okay. But still, I would love to see these top players go to these HBCUs, and some of them dollars go to these black schools. And I'd love to see the reaction of some of these fans. Okay, not just the Kentucky fans, but fans in general, these white universities. So I'd love to see it, but it's great. It's a great thing that Maker picked Howard. I love it. I hope more kids pick Howard. Well, not just Howard, and HBCU. Now, the HBCUs are not without problems. Okay, they need to fix their facilities, athletic facilities. their dorms for these athletes and that sort of thing. Okay, yeah, they're problems they need to fix. Okay, but these problems can be fixed if more of these kids would go to these HBCUs. So we'll see what happens with that. And more power to Makur Maker. It's a great thing he's doing. I think the next thing I had, I wanted to talk about Olivier Sarr. I guess this J.T. Daniels transfer from USC to Georgia. This was football. And he got his waiver approved today. And you know, these Kentucky fans, oh, it's more positive for Olivier Sarr's waiver. They are two different things, okay? J.T. Daniels' case is totally different from Olivier Sarr's. They're different, the cases. You can't compare one case to the other. Okay, Kentucky fans trying to compare Johnny Juzang's case with Olivier Sarr's. They're totally different. Every case is different. Every case the NCAA treats as different, okay? Do I hope Olivier Sarr gets his waiver? Yes. Do I think he should get it? Yes. Okay, but because other guys have gotten waivers, okay, doesn't mean Sarr's going to get his. All right, we're just going to have to sit and wait. I think it's got to be maybe a couple of weeks away before we hear anything on Sarr. It's got to be, it's close to 2 months, I think. And so we've got to be hearing something here soon, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. And hopefully for Sarr's sake, because if somehow he doesn't get approved and UK has to put in a waiver and that sort of thing, that gives him time to put his name in the NBA draft. I think August 17th is the drop dead date for the NBA. So I'm hoping that, he gets that opportunity if he gets denied. My personal feeling, not anything that I know, anything of that sort. I think eventually he will get cleared. He will get his waiver. But you never know with the NCAA. You never know. So, like I said, I hope that he gets his waiver. And I think he should get his waiver. In my opinion, I think he will get his waiver. But once again, that does not mean that he will get his waiver. So, hope for the kid's sake, he wants to play college ball. He wants to play college ball at Kentucky. And I hope for his sake that he gets the waiver. So that's all I'll talk about as far as that. There's not much really to do, just to wait and see when it comes out. So, all right. I think the next one was Jonathan Kuminga. He's going to announce this week. I forgot the date. I think it's the 16th. I think it's Thursday. Like 2 Eastern or something like that, 3 Eastern. But anyway, Kuminga's expected to go pro, and it's looking like it's going to be the G League. He was looking at the NBL, but it's looking like the G League. And from what I've heard, it's going to be $500,000, the same amount as Jalen Green received, as I predicted a couple of months ago. It's going to be the same amount that Jalen Green receives. He's on that level. Okay. Got some Walter's grape juice here. But he's on that level. Okay, with Jalen Green. So I knew he was going to get Jalen Green type money. So it looks like $500,000 he's going to get. So once again, I would not tell a high school athlete to pass up that kind of money. Also, they will get money for college education, college scholarship, if they want to use it. So where's the loss there? For the kid. Got to start thinking about the kid, not thinking selfishly about Kentucky basketball or any other college basketball team. All right, these kids, if they have that kind of money, looking at them. And I don't blame them for taking it. The ones that don't take it, that's up to them. They want that college experience, fine. Some of these kids that, say they want their college experience, their family has money already. So it's not the biggest deal for them, for some of them. Kid like Terrence Clark, he passed up money, but we don't know how much money Clark got offered. Okay. He may not have gotten offered $500,000. Okay. He may have gotten what Isaiah Todd, he may have been offered what Isaiah Todd was offered. 250 grand. We don't know. So, but Clark wants to go to college and build his brand. Hey, no problem there. All right. But most kids are not going to pass up that kind of money. They're just not. And you may see more kids in the 2021 class look at this option. I've heard Jaden Hardy, who's a Kentucky target for the class of 2021, I've heard he's looking at this option. So more kids are going to be looking at these options. It's the new wave of college ball. Just deal with it. All right. I know people don't like change, but this is something that you're just going to have to deal with. Okay. It's just the way it is. All right. And it's good change. Okay. I mean, you can fault the NCAA, the 2A on this because, they're so greedy. They don't want to pay anybody money. They don't want to, give money out of their pockets. Even though the earners are the kids on court, on the football field, and that sort of thing. The athletes are the ones earning this money that you're getting paid, and you don't want to, give the athlete any of it. Okay, yeah, okay, we're giving them a stipend. Okay, that's great. All right, and this name, image, and likeness thing that y'all are pushing now. Okay, y'all were pushed towards this by the California legislature and the governor. So you was pushed towards this. You didn't do this out of the goodness of your heart. You did this under pressure, and you were forced into this. So come on, man, give me a break. The NCAA is not all of a sudden, no, we want to provide for our athletes. No. Anything, not just with the NCAA, anything with this country, you have to push and make people uncomfortable. They're not going to do anything for you out of the goodness of your heart, of their heart. Okay, you got to push them and make them uncomfortable. All right. And I notice a lot of these white Kentucky fans have been made uncomfortable. Too bad. You're going to be made more uncomfortable till you come around to what's supposed to be. And that's just the way it is. And there's always going to be a push. And even Coach Cal is pushing the initiative, so you better get on board. And I'll get to that in a second. But you better get on board with what's going on. So, I talked about Kuminga. We just filmed. The next athlete I want to talk about is Moussa Cisse, who reclassified into 2020, has Kentucky on his final list. That's another kid that Kentucky's just going to be a hat on the table. He was going to LSU until it was said that something was going to come out about this LSU thing, a notice of allegations coming out for LSU. Will Wade giving kids, I don't usually curse, but this is a quote, giving kids strong ass offers. All right. And so LSU, eventually the hammer's going to come down on them. These notice of allegations are supposed to come out the original time that Cisse was going to make his decision. And he was going to pick LSU. But I think there's some pushback now, and I'm looking for him to pick Memphis now. That's a sort of a compromise there. Memphis, some other shenanigans going on with that program that I've gone into other times. So some, I have to say, alleged stuff, okay? But there's stuff that I've heard about that program that is facts. But anyway, I still have to say alleged. And so he's going to pick Memphis. And like I said, I guess Will Wade and LSU are under the crosshairs, so Wade can't make that strong ass offer. Okay, to Moussa Cisse, but Memphis may be making that big time offer. Okay, to Cisse and his people. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think Cisse is going to pick LSU, and just as I said, Kentucky's a hat on the table for him. Just like they are a hat on the table for Jonathan Kuminga. So, and if some of you don't know what hat on the table means, okay, all right, it means that Kentucky's on this kid's list, but the hat's going to stay on the table. It's not going to be picked up and put on his head. Okay, it's saying he's going to pick Kentucky. It's going to be sitting on the table like the other schools that finish. I don't even call it second. You finish last. If you don't get the kid, you finish last in recruiting. Excuse me. So, recruiting, you either finish first or you finish last. Okay. It's just like Cade Cunningham. Oklahoma State finished first. I don't care if he said he was close to coming to Kentucky. He didn't come to Kentucky. So that means we're as good as last as far as recruiting is concerned, even with Cade Cunningham. So that's where we're at with those two kids. And, it's just crazy. We was trying to add that one last kid. Kuminga, we didn't really need because we had other wings. Yeah, we take him because he's the best one, but it wasn't really a need for us. Cisse would have been more of a need, especially dealing with the Olivier Sarr situation. Whether we're going to have him get his waiver, or if he doesn't, we're going to really be strapped at the center position. So it would behoove us to hopefully have Olivier Sarr get that waiver for him. So that's where we're at with that. And I want to talk about now Coach Cal's initiative. Well, it wasn't just his, it's a bunch of coaches. It was led by Coach John Calipari and Harvard coach Tommy Amaker. And it's the John McClendon initiative. Some of you that don't know who John McClendon was, he's a Hall of Famer. What I don't like, though, the Hall of Famer, they have him in there as a contributor. He was more than that, all right? He should have been in there as a full-fledged coach, all right? He's the innovator of the fast break. These Kentucky fans, hey, the first true African-American coach. Well, yeah. He learned under James Naismith, the inventor of basketball. So he learned directly under him the tenets of basketball, which he learned when he was at the University of Kansas. Since the University of Kansas racist institution wouldn't allow McClendon on their coaching staff. And they also put James Naismith out to pasture, sort of. And so he hung around with James Naismith, learned a lot about the game of basketball. And he was the innovator. He was the first coach that implemented the fast break offense. Wasn't a white coach, all right? It was a black coach, John McClendon. Coached at North Carolina it was North Carolina A&I at the time. It's now North Carolina A&T. He coached in a couple other places. So he won a bunch of games. I forget how many exactly, but he was the innovator of the fast break. So teams that run fast breaks today, you can trace that back to John McClendon. Okay, and yes, he was African American. So and he helped a lot with having powerhouse teams at those HBCUs. And so this initiative is named after him. And it's not, and they said it's not just about basketball. It's about getting more minorities. And I think they mean minorities as black folks. People misconstrue the word minority today. All right. But it's mostly black people trying to get them into them administrative positions in the athletic offices, athletic director. What is Sandy Bell's? I don't know what Sandy Bell's official title is, but I think it's dealing with compliance, working in compliance offices at the universities and those type of jobs. Okay, within the athletic department, within the athletic realm. So that's what this initiative is that John Parrott's caliber. Oh, and some of it is having coaches. That's some of it, but it's a small part of it. If the kid wants to intern and wants to be, a coach, they can use that route. Okay. And, for you racists, these initiatives are needed because, once again, your ancestors were racist towards blacks, and we didn't have the same opportunities as others. Okay. So these initiatives and these programs, okay, are needed because of your racism. All right. You wouldn't need these initiatives, affirmative action, black entertainment, television, black beauty pageants. You wouldn't need these type of things if it wasn't for your ancestors' racism. All right. If your ancestors were right-minded people who care for everybody, okay, those initiatives wouldn't be needed. This initiative wouldn't be needed. All right. You have so many African Americans who comprise college sports, but you don't have many coaches, athletic directors, presidents, compliance officers, those type of things. All right. These athletes can't come into the office and all they see are white faces. All right. These initiatives are to see some black faces. All right. Doesn't have to be all. I'm not saying everybody in the office, but you have some black faces in these offices. These black players and black athletes can feel comfortable when they come in for something, or when they come in for academic advisement in the athletic office, or those type of jobs. So that's what this initiative is for. And like I said, once again, it's needed because of the racism and the discrimination that has been going on for over 400 years, okay, by white folks. And that's something you have to think about. Why these initiatives are needed. Okay. If you all were, good, nice people that love everybody and want everybody to have a shot, then we wouldn't need these initiatives. We wouldn't need this John McClendon initiative. Wouldn't be needed. So that's why these things are needed. That's just the way it is. All right. And things are changing. At least Coach Cal listens to his black players. They have conversations and he listens to his black players. That is good. Not all coaches do. Not all coaches do. And just because a white coach recruits a black athlete doesn't mean they're not racist. Okay. If you heard of these situations lately that came out at the University of Iowa, the one at Penn State about the news. Okay. Just because that coach recruits black athletes doesn't mean he's not racist. All right. And it goes back to the defense that these people want to use of Adolf Hitler. Well, he recruited a couple of black athletes. Doesn't mean he wasn't racist. All right. One, he was forced to recruit black athletes by the president of the university, Oswald, at the time. He was forced to. He didn't want to do it. He was forced to. Okay? And when he went on visits, he went on a home visit to Wes Unsell's house. He ignored the kid. Totally ignored the kid. What disrespect of that family's house that he showed. Just total disrespect. All right? It's total disrespect. All right? So just because a white coach comes and recruits a black athlete doesn't mean that he's not racist. And a lot of times they use black assistant coaches to recruit these kids. All right? They use black assistant coaches. All right? Kentucky has a black assistant coach, Kenny Payne. He recruits a lot of the athletes. All right? He does. Okay? Even though Calipari is not a racist at all. All right? I don't think he has a racist bone in his body. But the thing of it is, he has a black assistant on his staff. Okay? He knows even with that having a black assistant is an advantage for him. He knows that. So, even though the kids know, Calipari is definitely, not racist at all. So, he looks out for these kids. So, and he's done a good job. Not just at Kentucky. At Memphis and at UMass. I'll tell you a story. I talked to a former UMass player. This was about 6 or 7 years ago. I was going into a Chicago Public League quarterfinal. It was at DePaul University. It's quarterfinals. And one of this former UMass players saw me in my UK gear, and we started talking about John Calipari. And he talked about how John Calipari helped him in his career. Okay. How not only he played for Calipari, 25 years ago? Something like that. At the time, it was about 20 years ago at the time that we talked. And he said that Calipari, they still talk. And Calipari's still, there if he needs help with something. So, this is a black player at UMass. And so, Calipari cares about his kids, not just the black kids. He cares about all of his kids, all of his players. So, but especially, he didn't have to keep helping this kid. He didn't have to keep, contact with this young man. I mean, he could have just went on, I'm too busy. I'm coaching at UK now. I'm too busy. I don't have time to talk to you or whatever. No, it wasn't anything like that. So, Coach Kai showed his chops, man. He's really out to help everybody, but he knows that the minorities need help the most at this point. Well, always has been in America. As well, it always has been since white folks came here and stole the Native Americans' land. So, anyway, he's Calipari's one of those guys who's really out there trying to help. And like he said, most of what Calipari did with the players is listen. Okay, he wasn't doing a lot of talking. He said he listened. He listened to his players. So, and that's what these racist white folks do not do. All right, this is a time you idiots need to sit back and listen and learn. But I know it's hard for you to listen and learn to have a black person over you. I understand that. I understand that hurts your ego. So, I understand that. But you better figure it out in your mind to start listening because things are changing. Things are changing. So, better listen, you're going to get rolled through. That's just how it is. So, I think I've talked about everything here. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think I did hit everything I wanted to hit. But I will say, the class of 2021 targets. I think we've got 4 kids that have been officially offered scholarships. Kennedy Chandler, Jaden Hardy, Paulo Banchero, and Patrick Baldwin Jr. Now, we'll be good to get 2 out of those 4. Possibly get 3 out of the 4. I think 2 out of the 4. Probably more likely Banchero and Hardy. Chandler right now is looking. Tennessee's looking good for him. Could change, but right now Tennessee's looking good for Chandler, and the Baldwin Jr. still either Duke or Wisconsin, Milwaukee, where his dad coaches. So, but I think Coach Cal will be offering more kids. Then you have Sky Clark, who he offered last week, who's really class of 2022, but he's looking to reclass up to 2021. That would be great. What a backcourt that would be. Sky Clark and Jaden Hardy. And with both of those kids, you can interchange them. I know they're saying, oh, Jaden Hardy's a shooting guard, whatever. I don't think you can limit him, man. He can run point. I watched him run point in 2 sessions last year for Vegas Elite. Jaden Hardy was the point guard for that team. And he ran that offense pretty well. So it's not like Jaden Hardy stuck to being a 2. He can play point. Sky Clark, I think, is a point guard, and he's got the shooting skills to play the 2. He might be kind of small to guard 2s, but he can interchange too. He can play both. I think Clark would be that option if we don't get Kennedy Chandler. So that is a possibility, but that'd be a nasty backcourt. It really would. Sky Clark and Jaden Hardy, that would be nasty. And speaking of Paulo Banchero, y'all, Kentucky fans, ought to look at his backstory, man. I think it was the sophomore year of high school. He was with a buddy at a concert or whatever. Police pulled a gun on him and his buddy. They both want settlements from the county, King County, Washington. They both want settlements. So Banchero's had a gun pulled on him by the cops for no reason. All right. You Kentucky fans ought to empathize with that, with what has happened to that kid. And what happened to Paulo Banchero could have happened to any black Kentucky player. Okay? Basketball, whatever sport, could have happened easily to any Kentucky player. All right? You don't have white players or white people getting guns pulled on them by the police for no reason, for racism, racist tactics. All right? I know, they couldn't say Banchero's name in the article. They had to use his abbreviations or whatever, but he was the player. He was one of the players, Paulo Banchero. So these kids come to Kentucky going through situations like that, dealing with the police. All right? You Kentucky fans need to empathize with that kind of stuff that happens to them. It's different. It's different from anything that happens to you white folks. All right? I could go out here, get in my car and drive and be pulled over by the police for doing nothing. All right? And we don't know what kind of police we're going to encounter when we get stopped. All right? Could be a good cop who gives you the ticket, gives you no problem, and that sort of thing. All right? Or it could be a bad cop who just escalates things and might want to shoot me. All right? These are the things we have to deal with as black people when we leave our house. That's something you white folks don't have to deal with. So either start empathizing with that and wanting things great for all humankind, or you're going to get rolled over. Okay, you can't be silent anymore. Silence means you're complicit with the system the way that it is. So, in Kentucky basketball, okay, it's not the same. Better empathize with those black athletes. All right, it's the way it is now. So you're gonna have to deal with that. Just the way it goes. All right. And any of you want to learn more about John McClendon? All right, you can Google him now. Go ahead, Google him and read about what John McClendon did on this earth. He's the innovator of fast break basketball. So, anytime you see a fast break on the court, that thing of John McClendon. So, that's what it is. And I think, the other kid I want to talk about, he's class 2022 also. He'll probably reclass to 2021. I think he's going to end up at Kentucky too. Brandon Hartfield-Huntley plays at IMG. He's originally from Clarksville, Tennessee, and I think he's going to be a Kentucky Wildcat. He is a relative of Alex Poitras, so that's another feather in the cap. So, all right. I think I am done here. I don't have anything else to really talk about. I've hit the 2021 targets, 2022 targets. So, one other thing. I think we've got an edge on the 2023 target. Right now, number one by ESPN, DJ Wagner. Okay. His granddad, Milt, worked at Memphis under Coach Cal. And his son, DeJuan, played at Memphis under Coach Cal. Actually, Coach Cal saved his life. If you look at the 30 for 30 for Coach Cal, they talk about it. So I think we got a good end on his son, DJ, which I think is DeJuan Wagner Jr. So he's a real good ball player with talent. Now we'll still have competition with these guys with the NBA G League. Not sure about the high school to pro. Right now, that is on hold. So they're talking about 2025 now. Now that could change, but right now it seems like it has been tabled for now. So we'll see if that changes or not. CBA is coming up. And, with the COVID-19, things might be different on a lot of levels. So we'll see what happens there. All right, folks, I'm out. God bless. Peace to the creatures. Big Blue Nation. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And that's not saying other lives don't, but black lives are the ones that are being discriminated against. So, black lives matter. Out.